A letter from a Pakistani Khuwaja Sara to their silent mother is an emotional testament that begins with the life of discrimination faced by transgender children in families from tribal areas to cities like Lahore or Karachi. I was barely 9 or 10 years old when father dragged me across the floor and threw me out of the house. An event that is a daily reality for millions in Pakistan's Khuwaja Sara community, where family rejection and social exclusion become part of their identity. I screamed calling for you, but you stood terrified, motionless, staring at me. The flow of your tears was the only witness that you were displeased with father's cruel act, but your tongue was silent, and your heart helpless before his rage and societal pressure. In Pakistan, where 90% of transgender individuals face physical assaults, domestic violence and social taunts are common. Rooted in the British Colonial Criminal Tribes Act of 1871, which labeled Khuwaja Saras as a criminal tribe, a legacy that survives in discriminatory attitudes today. The taunts of neighbors, sarcasm of relatives, and piercing looks of people fueled father's anger, and he flayed my skin with his black leather slipper. Bearing the marks of these wounds, I would run to the dark cell that had become my only refuge in this house. In the darkness of the night, when you would come to me quietly hiding from father's gaze, embrace me, foment my wounds with your dupatta, and sit for hours with my head in your lap, your own sighs would choke while silencing my sobs. In that silent room, only the language of our tears spoke. My tears held an endless list of questions. Why am I the only target of father's hatred? Why am I locked in the dark, narrow storeroom when guests arrive? Why does this blessing become a burden for me every time? You had only one answer to all my questions, a loving gaze. You would kiss my forehead, kiss my hands, and silently testify that you loved your Raja Beta immensely. But as morning came, you would become the same woman who feared loving me due to fear of father, society, and religious extremists. The day father threw me out, my only fault was that I colored my lips with lipstick from your vanity table, draped your red dupatta on my head, wore your bangles on my wrist, and strutted happily in your clicking heels, an act often considered the first attempt at childhood identity in Pakistan's Khuwaja Sara community, but which becomes a cause for domestic violence. Seeing this, father rained blows with his shoes. I kept apologizing, but he wouldn't listen. Abusing me, calling me Zenka, he threw me out of the house forever. His last words were, "From today, you are dead to us." Hearing this, my grip loosened, my tongue went silent, and my tears stopped because I knew father never went back on his word. And you, mother, could never muster the courage to raise your head before father's decisions and social pressure. After that, I was left with a guru, where my name was changed from Amjad to Alicia, traditional Gurukula system that replaces family in Pakistan's Khuwaja Sara community, but often leads to financial exploitation and violence. There I was trained in dancing and singing, my every move watched. A legacy of the British era, where Khuwaja Saras were restricted to entertainment roles. But whenever I got a chance, the pull of your love dragged me back home. Yet father's last sentence stopped me from crossing the threshold every time. Seeing you make rotis from behind the door awakened my hunger, and when you fed morsels to my siblings with your own hands, my mouth would open too. But that morsel remained a longing. To fulfill this longing, I would eat dry bread lying outside the house, soaked in my tears. On Eid, when father placed 80 in all the children's hands, my hand remained empty. When everyone's laps were filled with love, mine remained empty. When father patted everyone's heads, mine remained bowed. Seeing father's bicycle in the neighborhood awakened a wish in my heart that if only he would embrace me once, but this wish remained just a wish. The torment of eviction wasn't enough when another agony descended. A few respectable men forcibly stripped me and made me a victim of their Lewiston incident. That is part of the 500 sexual assaults and 68 murders against Khuwaja Saras in Pakistan from 2015 to 2020. I was so weak I lost consciousness from the pain. In that unconscious state, I was handed back to the guru. This cycle continued, and I fell in my own eyes every day, dying daily. The guru declared it my profession. I ran away many times, wandered door to door, looking for a job, but found nothing but despair every time, finally finding refuge only at the guru's door. Our existence is considered an abuse in society. If we curse, they say, "Go, may one like you be born in your house too." Even though the same red blood runs in our veins as in others, and the Creator who made us made everyone. Then for what crime are we punished? Perhaps our crime is that our blood is red, and society's is white, a discriminatory system challenged by the 2009 Supreme Court of Pakistan decision by Chief Justice Iftikhar Muhammad Chaudhry, recognizing Khuwaja Saras as a third gender, giving them rights to vote, property, and government jobs, yet violence continues due to lack of enforcement. The Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Act of 2018 was a milestone, allowing gender recognition based on self, but a 2023 federal Shariat court ruling declared it against Islamic principles limiting rights, which institutions like Amnesty International termed discriminatory. Mother, I spent my whole life dying in the desire to live. Those with white blood shoot bullets into our bodies, sometimes under the guise of religion, sometimes upon refusal of prostitution, like the 91 murders and 2,000 violence cases in Khyber Pakistani since 2015, where perpetrators usually escape punishment. The same happened to me. When I regained consciousness, the doctor was trying to give me hope that if I mustered courage, I could return to life. I barely said, even if I muster courage and return, will I be allowed to live? When the angel of death came, I asked for a few moments' respite, hoping you would come running, embrace me calling me my child, and foment my wounds. But death gave no respite. I have heard that on Judgment Day children will be called by their mother's reference. Just this, mother, is my plea that on that day do not turn your face away from me. Pakistan's Khuwaja Sara community, which is centuries old and held respect in the Mughal era, is still fighting for rights today through the struggle of activists like Binde Rana and Milab Jamil. But without family and social acceptance, this struggle remains incomplete.